Royal, and all other ministers present here today, premiers, deputy ministers who are present here, and the MEC, chairperson of Salka, and all mayors and municipal leadership, councillors who are with us here, chairperson of the National House of Traditional Leaders, and all traditional leaders present here, representatives of business and representatives of network, fellow South Africans, compatriots, good morning to you all. Compatriots, to address you at this third presidential local government summit, following the two we have heard in Khayelitsha and in Gauteng, respectively. We meet today on an important day on which we commemorate the tragic execution of Solomon Mahlangu by the apartheid state in 1979. He was a dedicated freedom fighter who paid the supreme price for fighting for the liberation of our country and its people. On this solemn occasion, we recall his last words, and I quote, "My blood will nourish the tree that will bear the fruits of freedom." Tell my people that I love them. They must continue the fight. Unquote. The execution of the young Solomon Mahlangu provoked widespread international outrage. Today, in his honor, the fight continues, this time to accelerate economic transformation and improve the lives of our people. Compatriots, when we met in Khayelitsha, we emphasized the importance of the strong collaborations among all spheres of government in service delivery. In 2014, in Gauteng, we said we must go back to the basics and recommitted ourselves to providing basic services more adequately, professionally, and in a more caring manner. At the second presidential summit in Khayelitsha, there was agreement that local government performance should be improved to ensure provision of basic services and that people's needs are met. The objective of the Back to Basics program launched in 2014, is to create well-functioning municipalities that serve their communities better. It encompasses 5 pillars: putting people first and ensuring effective public participation platforms for them, creating conditions for decent living by consistently delivering municipal services to the right quality and standards. This includes planning for and delivering of infrastructure and amenities, maintenance and upkeep. Thirdly, good governance, efficient administration and accountability. The fourth is sound financial management and accounting, prudent management of resources, and fifth, sound institutional and administrative capabilities at all levels. This summit is now an opportune time at the beginning of the new term of local government to deliberate about the priorities for the next 5 years. As this is the first time since the last local government elections that we meet formally, let me welcome our newly elected and returning councillors and thank them for availing themselves for national service. I would like to congratulate all municipalities, councillors, and municipal staff who have made a difference in changing people's lives and living conditions. But before we consider the challenges going forward, let us reflect on the achievements and progress we have made over the last 2 decades in changing people's lives and living conditions. According to the latest General Household Survey of Statistics South Africa, the progress achieved between 2002 and 2015 includes an increase from 77% to 85% in the number of households with access to electricity. We achieved an increase from 85% to more than 90% of households with access to pipe water. Also, the share of households obtaining sanitation services went up from 62% to 80%. At the time of the survey, more 78% of South African households lived in formal dwellings, followed by 14% who lived in informal dwellings, and 7% in traditional dwellings. 14% of South African households were living in RDP or state-subsidized dwellings. In addition, 18% female-headed homes or households received a government housing subsidy, while 12% of male-headed households received a government housing subsidy. It must be mentioned that South Africa's population during this period also increased from about 40 million in 2001 to about 55 million in 2015. And our people are living longer now. And we thank God, because that's what has made our population to grow, as well as the improved health services, among others. Although we can be proud of the above achievements, we still must confront a number of challenges. I will mention just a few. The high number of households without access to piped water. We have bad roads, poor quality in some of the RDPs, a crumbling water infrastructure and poor sewage systems in some areas. We also face poor financial management in some municipalities and insufficient revenue collection. There is also still poor interaction between councillors and communities in some municipalities. We are aware of these challenges, and affected municipalities should work harder and faster to correct these shortcomings, which is why we come together as we are doing this week. This summit aims to provide strategic direction for the new term of local government. Importantly, from this summit must emerge a focused action plan on the way in which all three spheres of government and all partners should work together to ensure the deepening of the Back to Basics program. The action plan must build on the progress registered since our last summit and should enable us to be even more responsive to the needs and aspirations of local communities than before. First phase of the Back to Basics program focused on laying the foundation for a developmental local government by doing the basics that we just outlined. very properly. We now have to move to the second phase, in which the back to basics approach continues to build a functional and developmental local government system that delivers on its constitutional and legislative mandates within a system of cooperative governance. Critical in this phase as well is the need to tackle both spatial challenges and the socio-economic transformation requirements facing our country and communities. The second phase of the Back to Basics program will focus on a few key interventions. First, it is ensuring that we build programs to manage municipal spaces for radical social and economic transformation. Second is affirming the certainty of integrated and spatially coherent development planning across sectors and spheres. And third, strengthening intergovernmental and multi-stakeholder relations in disaster risk reduction. Colleagues and compatriots, we must also strive to develop an integrated approach where we not only focus on governance, but also have a deeper understanding and appreciation of the socio-economic problems facing our people. We must thus have an in-depth understanding of the differences in the space economies of the various types of our municipalities, the metros, secondary cities, districts, and small rural towns. For this purpose, we must develop a national differentiated socio-geographic classification based on this understanding. As you are aware, we have decided to focus firmly on radical socio-economic transformation in the remaining term of this government. But let us remind ourselves what we mean by radical socio-economic transformation. We mean the fundamental change in the structure, systems, institutions, and patterns of ownership, management, and control of the economy in favor of the South Africans, especially the poor, the majority of whom are African and female. Compatriots, let me repeat this unpacking of the economic, radical economic, social, or whatever. Partly because some people keep on asking questions. what is meant by radical socio-economic transformation. I want you to listen very carefully. What we mean is nothing like a ho-ho or anything beyond what is before us. By radical socio-economic transformation, we mean the fundamental change in the structure, systems, institutions, and patterns of ownership, management, and control of the economy in favor of all South Africans, especially the poor, the majority of whom are African and female. Let us not keep on asking, what do we mean by this? If we want to debate, let us debate this meaning we have presented. We have been presenting it in different platforms, partly because it is absolutely important that the economy of this country must be shared among all citizens of this country. We cannot say it is all fine when there is extreme poverty and extreme richness. The gap must be closed. The wealth of this country must look after the citizens of this country. We need to see radical socio-economic transformation in local government. And that's why I repeated this passage, because I want you colleagues to internalize this. Well, that is an objective. Why we live, we govern. It's not just for the sake of it. It's to satisfy the citizens of this country, particularly that they have the political power to choose the governments and personalities they want, but also the economic power to live comfortably. This requires that apartheid settlement geography must be confronted, and a new and more cohesive society must be born. It's a mistake we make. Things that were done by apartheid, we begin to live as if this is normal. Can't be normal. The townships of four-roomed houses, we must not be comfortable and think it is a normal situation. That was apartheid plan for Africans only. We need normal houses as all South Africans. Apartheid geography and centralized spatial planning ensured that the majority of our people were housed and located in marginal areas from the city centers, far away from the economic hub and opportunities, as well as from services. This perpetuated their exclusion from the economy. Therefore, the management of municipal spaces for radical social and economic transformation requires municipalities to do a few things. They must radically transform the residential areas by connecting and integrating places of work and human settlements to build an inclusive economy and sustainable human settlements. They must work hard to raise the living standards and quality of life of all the people in the municipal area. At the center of a municipality's social transformation activities must be the provision of social protection to the vulnerable, in particular women and children, the eradication of poverty, and the building of social cohesion and social solidarity. Municipality's objective must also be to turn the tide against the current spatial patterns of apartheid in the next 5 to 15 years. Though better and coordinated land use management, we must do that through better and coordinated land use management, ensuring that a new built environment and inclusive spatial landscape emerges across the country. I think it cannot be correct after 50 years that when you come to South Africa, you still see the huge scars of apartheid. They must be erased so that when you come at that time, you shouldn't say, here are scars of apartheid. And it is our duty to do so. They must include effective public transport, infrastructure that must be developed by us, as well as new integrated and sustainable human settlements and post-apartheid cities that are more connected, livable, smart, and green. That is at the heart of what we need to do as municipalities. Change the face of South Africa to a democratic South Africa, away from the face of apartheid South Africa. The renewal of old towns, inner city regeneration, as well as township renewal must be a key focus of our municipalities. They must revitalize and mainstream townships' economies by supporting the development of township enterprises, cooperatives, and SMMEs that will produce goods and services that meet the needs of township residents. Township entrepreneurs must be used to produce food such as bread for school nutrition and hospitals, clothes for school and police uniforms, and furniture for government offices. If we do this, we would bring millions of township residents into the mainstream of the economy. Hence, the need to revamp economic infrastructure and improve these areas. All spheres must work together to ensure that all township roads and streets are tarred, that the bucket system is eradicated, and that all hostels are turned into family units. All spheres must prevent illegal land invasion and growth of informal settlements. If we do all this, our people will see a difference in their lives, and the fruits of freedom will become visible to all. Colleagues and compatriots, in this year's State of the Nation address, I emphasize that we are building a South Africa that is free from poverty, inequality, and unemployment, as guided by the National Development Plan. This requires stronger collaborations and changes in the implementation of the Back to Basics program. Indeed, there is a lot we should do to build better municipalities and ensure that our people's experience of local government is a pleasant one. That is why this summit, that is what this summit is all about. We must all ensure that when people visit municipal offices, they return home smiling because of an excellent service they would have received. They should also live in communities where there is water, good roads, electricity, recreational parks, and other amenities. In the 2017 State of the Nation address, we announced that we dedicate 2017 to honor Oliver Regional Tambo. It is the year of unity in action by all South Africans as we move South Africa forward together. We need all of us to make South Africa a good place to live in. No one will do it for us except ourselves. Let us emphasize unity within local government in honor of O.R. Tambo, and so that we can achieve all our goals faster. Ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues, compatriots, it is my pleasure and honor to declare the third Presidential Local Government Summit officially open and to launch phase 2 of the Back to Basics program. I thank you.